Welcome back to another AQ World Infinity video. This is on the daily update design post. The last post was Saturday, August 10th, but this started at the beginning of the week. I think this was on Monday. Kicking off our full first week of daily updates as we make progress on AQ World's Infinity, a rebuild of the game that will allow you to log into your existing AQ World character on phones, tablets, and computers. Monday is the big full AQ World team meeting. We do it every week. We cover what we accomplished during the last week and what we're going to work on to accomplish this week. In the early days, I had a super bad reputation for talking so much that meetings went hours overtime. Okay, I still have that reputation, but I've been getting better. Sort of. So here's what's cooking. Smart NPCs. Yoshino is currently adding requirements to the NPCs. This will allow us to determine when NPCs appear or not. It's super useful for storytelling because it'll let an NPC move around the map with you as you progress. That is a good idea. Combat resumes. Spider is back and working with Immortal Joe on the 4 base classes. Nolgath, the animator, is animating some of the mage's FX. Dialogue cutscenes. Tunic continues working on the dialogue system. He got the color customizable speech bubbles working. We are aiming to start putting Bludrut cutscenes into it on Wednesday. This is a battle testing, so we expect to break a lot of stuff, then fix it and make it awesome. Cloud Builder and helmets. Warlick is getting ready to try another Android publish using our Cloud Builder. Also, he's going to work with Spider on converting all of the helmets, like the hares. Helmets are super complicated. This is because they are color customized. They have color customizable ears and hair, and also other art in them. Wish us luck. Ruffle. Captain Rhubarb, the database admin and coder, joined us to talk about a new flow for exporting assets. After we finish all the mass conversions, we're going to want a new way of staying up to date with AQ World's weekly releases, especially the items. I don't know what I mean by ruffle, though, unless that's what they called it. The Bludrut Keep. Reens, who is the content lead, Ghost, who is an animator, and J6, but I thought it was JX, is an artist with John Gard doing the sound, and I are working on the 4 separate maps that make up the horror-filled Bludrut Keep. We reviewed the script for the first floor and are about to start adding the quests with placeholders for the cutscenes. The next tech demo will take place as soon as the classes and dungeons are ready for testing. I thought I was overdressed. And there's one of the NPCs with the smoke coming into the room. That was mentioned on one of the other ones. So this is Tuesday. The Bludrut Keep on truckin'. Yoshino, AQ World's stuff doer, joined us on our morning sync to talk about the future of running releases at the same time. As you may know, Yoshino semi-recently became AQ World's assistant game lead. This means Yoshino works with Alina to build the releases, including maps, items, armors, monsters, and everything else that's required to make the weekly releases live. Yoshino took over for Reens when she shifted into Infinity. They are 2 of the most responsible, hardworking, and dependable people I have had the honor of working with. We talked about ways to simultaneously release items, armors, and weapons in both the games once it launches. It'll be challenging. So tomorrow I'm going to take all the things we talked about with Warlick and see what sort of magic he can whip up. Man, the amount of work going into this is wow. So here's the outside of the Bludrut in its current state. We ran into some weird issues today. Actually, every day. Spawn commands have been breaking the map. Monsters stopped being clickable if they go behind text like the image above, and the monsters start teleporting randomly, probably because of the combat changes in progress. Ghost, Reens, J6, and I are making the first floor of Bludrut Keep work. We also found a few monsters that were not yet redrawn or animated for the other floors, but we think we'll swap some of these monsters out for more recreationally horror-induced ones. Wednesday, and here's a nice image. I like the grug. It's looking gurgly and lurky. The Bludrut Keep first appeared in the original Adventure Quest, the original Adventure Quest. It was one of our first multiple path dungeons. It featured a monster called the Gruglurk at the bottom. Want to see what the original art looked like? Wow, that is garbage. Jeez, big difference, eh? From going from that type of animation to what we have now. Flash art at its peak. There was not a lot of lore about the dungeon or the Gruglurk, I think, when we created it in AQ Worlds. A few years later, we wrote a midweek release featuring the Spirit Hunter Vedrian. Then, a few years later, when writing the Throne of Darkness saga, we added a big twist about the history of this keep. No spoilers other than this picture from the Throne of Darkness. If you know, you know. Scarletta saying, and that is how I trapped the name in one of my mirrors. We merged all three of these things together like the ingredients of a delicious cake. Bludrut will not ruin anything for those of you who have not played through the Throne of Darkness in AQ Worlds yet. You should. We're doing the 13 Lords of Chaos first, so it'll be a long time before we convert this saga in Infinity. But there will now be a few hints that tie to the history of this place together. Today, Tunic and I, after working with Reens on some particle issues in the cutscene system, spent a lot of time working on how we will synchronize animations and dialogues in the cutscenes. I'm not sure I am overstate the amount of complexity going into this. To make it simple, Thursday, beach day. Just kidding. It is work on the map uploader bug with Captain Rhubarb in the rain day. No sunscreen required. As I type this, we are trying to unbreak some new feature that we put in to solve other problems. It's like a waterfall of misfortune. No worries. We activated the Warlick symbol, which is seen right here. Also, there was ghost stuff. This is the old and this is the new. Nice changes on that, though. I like that. Aarons did a glow-up of some older Bludrut Keep art, including this girl. He did a great job, though. Doesn't that look amazing? And the original's on the left, the new is on the right. This is the old, this is the new. Nice shading on the eyes, and on the face and whatnot. Like this, the shading is way better on this than it is on this. It's just more vivid, so nice. Some of the armor shading work is subtle, but those highlights on the edges of the armor really pop now, and yeah, it really does. This follows our guiding light, our rule of 80% the same and 20% better. Oh, a stranger! Wait, don't run away. Everything is perfectly fine here. Reens has been using the new art to try to build cutscenes in the dialoguer. I did mention we were battle testing that dialogue system, right? We are battle testing it so good that it went back down for repairs. The particle systems are breaking catastrophically. This is because cutscenes move game objects into the user interface layer where positions and scales are Twilight Zone weird. Also in the pic above, you can see our new Z ordering method working perfectly backwards. We are one bug away from this game becoming a full-on MC Escher drawing. May look pretty rough, but this is the fun part of making games. And I'm assuming they're talking about this being, maybe the green too, I'm not sure, but things always breaks the worst when you are gutting out all the duct taped and gum and stuck together hacks to make the real system. You've heard me say this a few times before, so I know you already know this, but there are some folks who might be joining us for the first time, thought we should share that with them too. Meanwhile, one of our Cloud Builder hard files failed at the lab, and that is why this week's Adventure Quest 3D release was delayed a day. We rigged up a really old machine to carry the load of the missing machine until the new one arrives. So for those of you who were wondering what had happened with AQ3D, that's what it was. It was a hard drive failure. And look at this. This is the old and this is the new. What is it? We had completely removed it out of the script, but looking at it after it was redrawn, I am sort of thinking we need it. What do you think? Keep it or drop it? Should it go in the Bludrut release? Let me know. This? Definitely. I think that would be really neat to see compared to this. This, hands down. This, not so much. But this looks really, Really cool. I would love to see that in the Bludrut. Thursday night, I did end up taking the kids to the beach. We left after work and ran on the sand along the edge of the water at sundown. Then we made sandcastles and practiced martial arts kickboxing sets. There's no such thing as work and life balance. The secret is to always be strategically out of balance. Take the opportunities that present themselves, even if it was a joke at the start of the update post that turned out to be a good idea, so you never regret the journey. Friday. Happy Friday. We did it. 5 out of 5. Our first solid week of daily update posts since the good old days. Back when I did it nearly every weekday for about a decade. Those were fun times. Those were also a little bit different times. Back then the world seemed to be a little less obsessed with recreational rage. Our news and social media accounts are now mostly angertainment. Everyone is trying to get us to watch the videos by baiting us with something that makes us mad. In all fairness, we click on it and comment on it. It works. So it is hard to blame them. Growth has caused me to change a lot too. I am not the same person I was 5 years ago. None of us are. Sure, I still make puns, video games, and embarrassing typos, but I have evolved from my mistakes, becoming more transparent, grounded, and accountable. These Infinity posts are fun, but they primarily focus on the facts of our goals development process. This is not a lot of hype or minimal exaggeration, replacing realism with over-enthusiastic optimism. If you appreciate this way of communicating with you, I would love it if you let me know. In today's online world, everyone is quick to point out anything that is wrong, but very few people point out something that is right. This is also very true, and this goes, not just game development, but for anything, whether it's movies, whether it's a TV show, or anything, you don't really make a lot of comments in regards to things that you love. But when you are upset about something or don't like something, we are very vocal about it. That is just the way humans are designed. Because after reading the post, it sounds like you definitely want it to be in the Bludrut release, so be it. Yes. And what it is not is a giant twilly? Is it a giant twilly? Dun 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 dun. Is that a Moglin's life-sized? Actually, that is pretty friggin' huge. This was a surprise. Here's the story. The person who packs and ships Hero Mart goodies is out for a while due to a scheduled medical procedure, so Stritch drove down to the East Coast to come cover for her until she heals. We asked him to join us for dinner tonight, and he showed up with this, a cuddly prototype for a life-sized Twilly. My daughter asked, "Who gets to keep the prototype?" I gave her a stern look for asking such a silly question. You have to earn it through trial by combat. Progress update on the Bludrut Keep. Response to a player question. A player on Discord asked if the Bludrut Keep was going to be half free and half member only like the current one. We're happy to let them and you know that the entire Bludrut story, which spans all 4 levels, will be available to all players. Bonus member only content will not block the main story. Bludrut Keep was released early days of the existing AQ worlds, back before our level design philosophy improved. Glad we have that opportunity to fix it. Cutscene chaos. Reens has been adding the colored mists to the floor. Each floor has a distinct color, and rigging up the monsters and quests. Each time something breaks, we call on the coders to help fix it. The dialogue cutscene system ran into a super bad one. No matter what Reens did, she couldn't save her new cutscene to the database. Captain Rhubarb and I discovered that our security settings prevented any special characters from being posted to the server. This included blocking simple things like bold tags. Once we knew the problem, it was a quick fix. We ran into an issue where someone uploaded a new cutscene animation, but we had no way of knowing what the original file was. The animation was named something different than the source file, so we added new fields to the database to track where the source files of our maps and cutscenes were located. We need to do this for monsters, items, and the other things too. Combat progress. This week has been all about porting the base classes, Warrior, Rogue, Mage, and Healer to Infinity. Spider's experimenting with Joe on the skill queuing system and getting animations to cancel each other. If a more important combat animation can cancel and take over, it'll feel more like the existing AQ worlds. Nalgath has been working on animations and animation improvements. They're in the middle of a bunch of changes, and I've been able to see the latest. I've not been able to see the latest. I did see the new damage pop-ups in action, and it looks great. They made distinct styles for hit, crits, dodges, and other attacks. Next week, we'll do an art pass with Goat, I think they mean Ghost, and J6. I'm going to wait until we get something semi-final before posting a GIF. We've been working on these core features for a few weeks now. The plan remains the same. As soon as the classes are ready and Bludrut is up, we will start the next tech demo to test it. Have an incredible weekend. Be sure to check out all new weekly releases that just went live at artix.com. And the cat onesies in AQ3D are adorable. They are covering a lot of ground in AQ World Infinity, but what do you guys think of the news so far? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.